Checking the mic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mix is sounding pretty good. Perfect. Alright, good morning, welcome to the stream. This is kind of a continuation of what I was doing last night. Last night I flew from Denver to Salt Lake, and as I was in transit I started to go through my ballot, and I had hoped to do the entire thing on that hour-long flight, but as it turned out I only got through the very first of 6 different races. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going through, I'm doing some research, I'm making my decision. I haven't done any research beforehand, so I'm literally just stumbling my way through this. And as I explained last night, I'm kind of doing this as a way to promote activism in democracy. So without further ado, I will be continuing on. I've already done, last night I got through the City of Champaign City Council piece of the ballot, and I selected Greg Stock, just because he's the incumbent. I think he's been doing a great job, and there was nothing that his challenger brought to the table that I, thought was particularly inspiring or anything like that. So next I'm moving on to the township. If you've been watching the stream, you may recall that I did a previous stream for the primary election. And when I did that, I chose to vote in the Democratic primary election because I knew that more than likely the Democratic candidate would win. However, now that we're at this point, we have a Democrat and we have a Republican, and it doesn't really matter. Because it's a primary, and because you can be quite sure the Democrat is going to win, it makes sense to select which Democrat you think is going to win for a primary. Now that we're at the actual election, it really makes sense for me to pick whichever one I believe is a better candidate. Unlike the city council seat, these are on partisan tickets, and I don't know why that is. Well, I do. It's because the city of Champaign has a very firm tradition of not having partisan stances, which I really appreciate. I could ramble endlessly about how partisanship is ruining, and it's really the death of our form of democracy. But in this case, I'm just going to look up both candidates. I already know a little bit about Andy Kornstrom from my previous research for the primary election, so I don't feel like I need to do a ton of research there. He did send me a couple flyers that I'll glance through. As a Champaign-Urbana Public Health Department Board of Health member and public health leader in Champaign, Andy Kornstrom has ensured first responders have the tools, testing, and vaccines needed to keep our community safe, provided leadership to get our community vaccinated with one of the most aggressive vaccination plans in the state, and been a leader on the national stage as the president of the National Association of Local Boards of Health, advocating across our country and in Washington, D.C. I actually didn't realize he was involved in health stuff at all. So that's interesting. As a community, we need to tackle homelessness. I will work to eliminate housing insecurity in our schools. Okay. I have a plan to fight and ultimately end housing insecurity in Champaign schools. What does that mean? It's not like when you're at school, people are homeless. So maybe they're just trying to end homelessness for the students that go to our schools? Through relationships built over the last 8 years with the City of Champaign, Unit 4, nonprofits, and others, the township will lead a collaborative effort to ensure our students have a place to lay their heads every night. Got it. We will put the pieces together and eliminate housing insecurity in our schools. That's still a weird way to word it to me. But we have to be bold! Exclamation point. I'm asking for your vote on April 6th that's today, to implement my plan and make our community a better place. Re-elect Andy Kornstrom as Township Supervisor on April 6th. So I think in the primary election I did say, just like Greg Stock, the incumbent just always has some sway for me. Champaign schools have approximately 250 families facing housing insecurity. I'm committed to change. Committed to change that. I'm committed to changing that. I am say what you will. I know I'm a grammar guy. I have a minor in creative writing. I am committed to change that? Really? You're committed to changing something. I'm committed to change that. Committed. You could say I'm committed to change, but you can't say I'm committed to change that, because the that means it has to be a verb. I'm committed to changing that. So, bad grammar. Don't get it. Not sure if just nobody ever reviewed that stuff or what. Okay, so the other thing that I thought was interesting is I actually got a random text. I don't even know how they got my number, to be honest. It says, "Hey Christopher, it's Scott with Andy Kornstrom for Township Supervisor Champaign. Just texting to remind you that the local election day is Tuesday, April 6th. You can still vote early as well. You can find your polling place at blah blah blah.com." And then like 2 minutes later, I got another identical text. Oops. So there you have it. I don't know. That doesn't really help me make a decision at all, but you know, it definitely shows that he's, I guess, pulling out the stops to try to get elected, and he has the funds and wherewithal to be able to pull some strings to get that done. Okay, so now I'm just trying to do some research here. Oh no. Let me go ahead and share my desktop. So unfortunately, I've read all my premium articles, so I'm not sure I'm actually going to be able to read this like I wanted to. I guess that's what I get for not paying into the system. Quarnstrom. Looks like his website is down, which is kind of funny. Here it is. No, that's Champaign Mayor. That's from 2019. Bless me. Well, she doesn't appear to actually have... Oh no. Yeah, see, that's the problem. I'm just gonna get booted out. So I guess I can't really do News Gazette, unfortunately. That's the local newspaper. I find them to be very quality journalism. But I guess since they're not an option, there's just not much I can do about that. So I will stick to their personal websites. For Karen Foster, I'm actually not... don't think I'm seeing an actual, it looks like she didn't actually make a website. But it does look like she's currently on the council already. And that doesn't give me any info. But I do have her Twitter here. Drop off your ballots after you voted for me. That was April 3rd. Ooh, this was a fire that happened just down the street the other, I think last week. It was a barbecue restaurant, a beloved barbecue restaurant. Yeah, that's no good. Fire's bad. Vote for Karen Foster. Crime Stoppers. Mail-in ballot, early voting. Okay. Advertisements. Champagne. Here, this might be interesting. Oh, 30 minutes.
All right, and welcome to tonight's forum. I am Tricia Crowley of the League of Women Voters, and on behalf of the League,
I don't have 30 minutes, but I have 15 minutes.
And the News Gazette, I welcome you to tonight's candidate forum. Tonight's forum is for the Consolidated election, April 6th election for City of...
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this on like 1.5 speed and just try to blast through it and get an idea what these people are all about.
All right, and welcome to tonight's forum. I am Tricia Crowley of the League of Women Voters, and on behalf of the League, the NAACP, and the News Gazette, I welcome you to tonight's candidate forum. Tonight's forum is for the Consolidated election, April 6th election for City of Champaign Township Supervisor. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, we are unfortunately not presenting this forum in person. We have received many questions for these forums, and similar questions have been consolidated and consequently may not be asked in precisely the way it was submitted. And due to limited time, we may not be able to get to all of the submitted questions. After the forum, this video will be available on the League's YouTube channel and Facebook page in the next several days. For candidate information, you should check out the Nonpartisan Voters Guide at votechampaign.org. This forum will be attached to the candidate information in the Voters Guide. It will also be broadcast by UPTV, and the UPTV schedule is available on the City of Champaign website. I will be the moderator for this forum. The order for the candidates is alphabetical, and therefore Karen Foster will open and Andy Kornstrom will close. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement. I'll then ask questions submitted prior to the forum, and the candidates will have 1 minute for each question. At the end, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. And now it's time for opening statement. So, Ms. Foster, you want to proceed? 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I thank the League of Women Voters, the NAACP, and the News Gazette for sponsoring this candidate forum. I'm Karen Foster. I'm a lifelong resident of Champaign. I'm a 2-time graduate of Eastern Illinois University with degrees in education and guidance and counseling. In addition to teaching ages infant through Parkland, I was elected to the City Council in 2007 for 2 terms. It was while on council that I became familiar with the Township Supervisor's office. As a board member, we received monthly updates, budget requests, budget approval, and overall functioning of the office. This year, I felt it is important that the voters have a choice in who is elected to be Township Supervisor. As a supervisor, I would limit raising taxes to fund the general assistance and temporary assistance. Grants are available to be used, and I would continue to seek grants to continue the programs, especially those that affect residents who have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Many in our city are struggling to pay bills for mortgage or rent, and I would want to give them monetary assistance as well as provide information concerning vaccinations and how to continue to stay safe. The Township Supervisor's duties are not Republican or Democratic, and I pledge to treat all citizens equally and work to find assistance for them. Being Township Supervisor would be my only employment. After leaving council in 2015, I was appointed by Mayor Finan as a member of the Neighborhood Services Advisory Board. Since 2010, the Bristol Place subdivision was planned, and finally in 2020, it was fully developed as affordable housing for our city. I was part of the team who researched and then reported to council. I have many years' experience collaborating with others in order to make things happen.
Karen, your time is up.
Thank you.
Womp womp.
Okay, opening statement, Mr. Kornstrom.
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, to the News Gazette, NAACP, to you all, and to my opponent, Mrs. Foster. My name is Andy Kornstrom. I'm the City of Champaign Township Supervisor. I'm a dedicated public servant, serving over 24 years with Champaign Fire Department, as well as the last 8 years as your Township Supervisor. I'm married.
So it's totally weird that Karen Foster doesn't have her image up. I mean, this is obviously, he looks great. You know, he's got a bookshelf with things that he presumably likes on it. And, you know, he's wearing not quite a suit, but, you know, a nice blazer or whatever, and yeah, he looks like a professional. To not have your camera on just feels a little bit like you're hiding or something. It's just kind of weird to me.
Married to my wife, Erin, who is a Unit 4 employee, and we have 2 high school age kids. I'm involved in the United Way, CASA, Little League, and numerous other nonprofits that I enjoy spending my extra time on. 8 years ago, I ran as the City of Champaign Township Supervisor. I beat an incumbent, conservative Republican incumbent, who at the time provided approximately $9,000 a month and served about 30 individuals in the township. Flash forward to 2021, February 2021, where we've served over 150 individuals and provided over $90,000 worth of assistance. In that time frame, we have not raised taxes one time. When I ran for office, I made one where we've served over 150 individuals and served about 30 individuals in the township. Flash conservative Republican incumbent, who at the time provided Little League and numerous other nonprofits that I enjoy spending my extra time on. 8 years ago, I ran as the City of Champaign Township Supervisor. I beat an incumbent, conservative Republican incumbent, who at the time provided approximately $9,000 a month and served about 30 individuals in the township. Flash forward to 2021, February 2021, where we've served over 150 individuals and provided over $90,000 worth of assistance. In that time frame, we have not raised taxes one time. When I ran for office, I made promises. Those promises that I made, I've kept. We've increased transparency, including having a fraud portal on our website, comprehensive information for budgets, agendas, information relative to township government. We purchased new township offices that are ADA accessible, friendly to our clients as well as our employees. We've increased the monthly grant for general assistance over 20%. We've also formed comprehensive rental assistance as well as COVID rental, utility, and mortgage assistance to help battle the COVID pandemic. We've started the nationally renowned See You at Work program, as well as purchased prosperity gardens to put homeless men and women at work in the gardens, putting fresh fruit and vegetables on the plates of those in need in our community. But my work here is not done. I'm asking for your support and your vote so we can continue the good work that we've been doing. We have plans to help eliminate housing insecurity in Unit 4 schools, and we've got the structure and the platform to accomplish that. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to the questions this evening.
Alrighty.
Tricia, you're muted, I think.
This, even though after a year, I forget when I get muted. So, Ms. Foster, how would you answer this question from a voter? What does your office do?
Thank you. That is an important question because not very many people are aware of the Township Supervisor's office, and our office, this office provides assistance for those in need to pay for their mortgage or their rent. And when they fill out their forms, they have to fill out assistance forms, and then the caseworker works to decide whether they qualify for that assistance or not. And up to $600 a month is given over a 3-month period.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cornston, how would you answer this question from a voter? What does your office do?
So the township I equate to being the social service branch of local government, and we're the safety net for those most in need in our community. As I noted in my introduction, we provide numerous types of assistance. Our most regular and statutory requirement is our general assistance program that is provided for those that are unable to work in our community. They receive a flat grant for the time in which they become disabled until they then receive Social Security. And so we're bridging that gap of assistance for them. In addition, since taking office, we, as I mentioned, started very comprehensive rental assistance in the city of Champaign. And Ms. Foster's correct, it is $600 a month, and we provide that through pretty comprehensive case management. Since COVID took hold, we added, again, comprehensive COVID-19 rental, mortgage, and utility assistance for those that are negatively impacted by the COVID pandemic. And that has been done through community development block grants as well as emergency solutions grants. We do a lot, but I just got my stop sign, so I'll go ahead and stop.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cornston. And we're alternating who starts first with each question. So, Mr. Cornston, you're starting with this one. What's the current budget of the township office, and could you describe the programs it funds?
Sure. So currently, I think our most recent levy is approximately $700,000. Our most recent budget is right around that same. This year, in the last more or less 365 days, we brought in an additional $700,000 in grants and assistance from nonprofits, the state of Illinois, the federal government, the state of Champaign. And so those monies go, of course, to fund our general assistance. Much of the grant money goes towards the COVID-specific rental, utility, and mortgage assistance. The township then funds our regular rental assistance program, so those not affected by COVID, as well as our prosperity gardens work and our See You at Work programming.
Okay, and Ms. Foster, do you want to comment on the budget of the Office of Supervisor?
I think that he's covered that well, and I really do. I will say I appreciate the assistance that the Prosperity Gardens has been able to provide to the community and the other programs that have been started in addition to the general assistance program. Even though that is added to the budget, I think that the grants that were found to supplement the budget were appropriate, and I think that was good work. And I would like to, if I were so choosing to be supervisor, to continue with that good work for our community.
All right, thank you, Ms. Foster. Next question, Ms. Foster. Can you talk about what programs you would work with Unit 4 and what programs you would continue if you were elected?
The programs that I would continue if I were elected would be like the Prosperity Gardens. I remember when I was on council, Prosperity Gardens was just beginning, and we started, and there was another area, North Market Street, that was to be developed. I'm not sure that it ever got off the ground, but Prosperity Gardens there on First Street is awesome, and I would like to continue with that. I would also, as I stated in my opening statement, I would want to continue to help people through the pandemic know how to keep safe, possibly if they weren't vaccinated yet, give them information on being vaccinated. So giving out information in addition to financial assistance would be important to me because social work and guiding people is what I do.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Ms. Cornston. Mr. Cornston, could you list the program, any programs that you have or would intend to have and coordinate with the Unit 4 schools?
Thank you. So we, of course, early on became partners with Unit 4 through the Summer Youth Employment Program, both funding it as well as participating in it. We have at-risk and at-need kids working in our township offices. They haven't this year, of course, because of COVID, but previously have worked in both the supervisor's and assessor's office. We'll continue those things. And we work very closely with Unit 4 through their school social workers to provide housing assistance as well as general case management for some of their families that are either housing insecure or needing certain available resources from the township. Lastly, one of my goals is to, of course, eliminate housing insecurity with Unit 4. We're doing that with the platform that we put together for housing assistance as well as the relationships we built with Unit 4 staff, superintendent, of course, the elected officials, but also our other partner agencies in the community.
Okay, Mr. Cornston, could you describe how the office might work with other government and nonprofit agencies?
Absolutely. So COVID, of course, for all the bad it is, has provided some shining lights in that we have been able to work closely with multiple other levels of government. And I'll name them quickly: United Way, Regional Planning, City of Champaign, City of Urbana, Cunningham Township, as well as Public Health. We have all joined in the fight against COVID, and we've done that a lot of ways because of the relationships that we've built, the work that we've done together pre-COVID. And so I'm proud of the work we do with other agencies and nonprofits. And without that work, I don't believe that we would be able to accomplish the significant social service work that we're currently doing. And so I think that those relationships and the platforms we built are key to the successes we've seen.
Okay, Ms. Foster, could you describe how your office might work with other government and nonprofit agencies?
Sure, I'd love to. That was one of the areas that I was most proud of when I was on council. I worked a lot with United Way. I worked with Family Service. I was on the Family Service Board, as well as Delivering Meals on Wheels and that organization. I've worked with several organizations in town, either through my volunteer activities or through my council activities. So I'm well aware in how those organizations work together, and being part of that in order to help our community stay safe, become safer would be a main goal of mine. Currently, I work at the Caring Place, which is Carl Hospital's employee daycare center. So working with the hospital's OSF and Carl would also be a priority of mine.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Foster, we'll start with you. This question: how would you see your office collaborating on goals with the Champaign City Council?
Oh, I think that we, just the 8 years that I was on council, we tried to work together with the Township Supervisor's Office in so many ways. And I remember I was so happy when this building was able to be purchased, because the old office did not have ADA accessibility except in the roughest of elevators trying to get up to the first floor. So finding a new building was paramount to the success of the Township Supervisor being able to help others. And so in that way, with the Prosperity Gardens, that was another area where we collaborated. And the new CU at Home, I think, is a wonderful program in collaboration to help those without addresses have some type of meaningful employment while they are looking for permanent housing. So I think that would be another way that working with the City Council to help that, and also to find affordable housing in the city of Champaign.
Ms. Foster, your time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cornston, how do you see your office collaborating on goals with the Champaign City Council?
Well, as Mrs. Foster noted, we have collaborated well over the last 8 years, up to and including purchasing the new building. And I think the last year is a strong indicator of the relationship I have with the council members as well as city staff, and that we showed that they could trust us with some of their community development block grant money to be put towards housing assistance for those affected by COVID. And so we were sub-grantees of that grant to the tune of more or less $350,000 to $375,000. I don't remember the exact amount. And I think that that speaks volumes. You know, those of us that are aware of city government know that that's a significant responsibility. And so the fact that they trusted us, they recognize the work that we've done because we work so closely with them, and they recognize the structure and comprehensive platform that we had in place for housing assistance. You know, their financial support with that block grant, I think, speaks volumes to the relationship we have with the council.
Thank you. And Mr. Cornston, how would you describe the source of funds for the township office, and are they adequate or more funds needed?
So the vast majority of our revenue, especially pre-COVID, comes from property tax levies. Probably 90% comes from property tax levies. The other 10% comes from personal property replacement tax. And then we do get, through our general assistance program, some reimbursement. So we may provide client X with $10,000 over his period of time with the township. We then get a reimbursement from the state of Illinois. Sometimes it's $10,000, sometimes it's less, but that is another form of income. And then most recently, of course, as I noted, we've received CDBG money, ESG money, as well as grants from the United Way, Public Health, and the state of Illinois. And so our revenue stream during COVID has been very robust. Post-COVID, we're not sure what that looks like. We'll continue to have our property tax and our personal property tax. But I think citizens demand significant services for their residents. And so we've done well over the last 8 years to not raise taxes and to work within our means. And we're going to try to continue that. And thank you. I see my stop sign.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Foster, could you describe the sources of revenue for the township office, and do you think that that revenue is adequate for the needs?
In my opinion, after working many places like Family Service, First Call for Help, and just in general, I think that the township office has done an awesome job this last year with the many ways that he has said that they have received monies from other sources besides property tax funds. But the needs are great. There are so many needs in our town that the money, $600 a month for 3 months, isn't nearly enough to cover all of the needs that people have. And that doesn't even really touch the surface of those who may be in need, but either are afraid to come and ask for assistance, or are not able to get there to ask for assistance, or lack computer skills to do it online. So I think that there's, you have to work within your budget. There's just no doubt about it. But adding the grants and monies through United Way and other agencies has been so beneficial for
Ms. Foster, your time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Foster, if elected, what efforts would you want your office to prioritize?
I would definitely think that we would need to continue the work that has been started with the rental assistance, mortgage assistance with those who have been affected by the pandemic. The pandemic has been in our town with the restaurants, with the businesses, the small businesses that have lost revenue, have had to lay off employees. We need to get help to those people, and then to keep everybody safe. So far, I think the positivity rate is under 2% right now, which means we're going in the right direction. But we need to, I don't know that we'll ever be able to get back to what normal was, but we need to be able to help those who are in need. And it's not going to go away just because the positivity rate goes down. We have to be prepared to help others in any ways that we can do that.
Thank you. Mr. Cornston, if elected, what efforts would you want your office to prioritize?
Thank you. So we would absolutely continue the work that we're doing. I think that we have found a niche with our See at Work program. Our comprehensive housing assistance has obviously shown its importance. And I would really, quite frankly, only add working with Unit 4 schools to eliminate housing insecurity. And at any given time, as you may be aware, 250 to 300 families are housing insecure at any time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're sleeping on the streets, but it means that they're couch surfing. It means that they're staying with family or in a hotel. And that number is unfathomable. And we need to work towards eliminating that. And again, with the relationships we built, the platform that we have over the next few years, that's going to be my number one goal in addition to continuing the programs that we have done so far.
Okay, thank you. And now it's time for closing statements. So you have 2 minutes for closing statements. And Ms. Foster, you start.
Okay, again, I want to thank the League of Women Voters, the NAACP, the News Gazette, and thank you to Mr. Cornstrom for participating with me in this candidate forum. I am a conservative, and I feel that my years of serving the public, serving children, serving families, serving those in need, have prepared me for doing this job. I feel that the years that I worked at Champaign County Nursing Home, working with the elderly, with our innovative child daycare center where the children and the residents were together. I built that program. I built another program. So I have a history of being able to build programs, to collaborate with others. And if I were elected township supervisor, I would definitely be on the forefront of those collaborations in our town. I still know many of the people who are involved, and I would welcome the chance to be able to help those in need as much as I can. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the support of anybody who is listening.
Okay, Mr. Cornston, your closing statement.
Thank you again, and thank you to you as host, and to Mrs. Foster, thank you for the many kind words and all of your years of service. In 2013, you elected me as your City of Champaign Township Supervisor, and for the last 8 years, I've served honorably and with the goal of working to eliminate social-related issues in our community. And we've been very successful, but we have a lot of work to do. And so my plan is to continue that good work that we've done so far, including our See at Work program, Prosperity Gardens, our comprehensive housing assistance, our significantly increased general assistance from when I took office, as well as continue to operate a transparent government that our citizens can understand and appreciate. And so we have much work to do, and I look forward to those challenges. And I think that I'm best suited to ensure that the township continues to provide the services that our citizens demand, and I'm best suited to ensure that we tackle housing insecurity in Unit 4 schools. And so I would appreciate your support, and I encourage all voters to vote on April 6th and to early vote starting now. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you to our candidates, and thanks again to the League of Women Voters of Champaign County, the NAACP, and the News Gazette for sponsoring this forum. And a very special thanks to Jonathan Behrens, who put this series together and has been our timekeeper tonight. Just a reminder, it's not too late to register to vote for the April 6th election. Information is available on the county clerk's website. Please vote by mail, vote early, or vote on April the 6th. Because turnout is expected to be light, please check your polling place for April 6th. And also for...
Okay, so yeah, these two people, they seem honestly equally, well, not quite equally, but they both seem fine. Andy Cornstrom, he's the incumbent. Nothing, it's hard to justify voting someone out when everything seems to be going fine. Yeah, I guess I didn't really realize exactly what the role of the township was. I didn't know it was. I mean, it basically sounds like all they do is provide assistance. But he had some other things like Prosperity Gardens and what's the other one? Oh yeah, his emphasis on transparency I thought was good. So I'm gonna vote for Andy, and yeah, keep going down my list here. For Township Assessor, there's only one candidate, Paul Ferracci, and so I don't exactly know why they have these boxes that only have one candidate. I guess it's just some kind of like formality thing. I just skip them. Champaign Park District. We have Jane Solon Wetmore and Craig Hayes. Vanna. Trying to figure out how this website is set up. Yeah, these are a bunch of races that aren't even on my ballot. So let me just look up their names. Craig Hayes. Okay. Hold up. It says vote for not more than 2. so... Oh, this is 2015. Okay, never mind. It's so hard to even find information on people like this. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be making a decision based on. Bunch of defunct websites. There's just not a lot to even be going on here. This is kind of the problem, like, when it comes down to it. Hold on, let's see. This was a live in-person. Oh, this is from 2015 as well. Yeah, so when it comes down to it, a lot of these minor positions, there's just not really enough information, and it almost makes me feel like, why are we even electing people if it's not even a race? Like, if they don't even have to make a website and like campaign, then why are they part of the election at all? I don't really know. The other thing I don't understand is, like, this one, there's 2 candidates and it says vote for not more than 2. So it's like you could just vote for both of them if you wanted to. So how is that really a vote if there's 2 people running and 2 are gonna make it? I don't understand. Yeah, really don't understand. I'm just gonna skip that one. Again, it's for Champaign Park District, Park Commissioner, and it just doesn't really seem like that important to the thing. Next one is Regional Board 9 for members of the Regional Board of School Trustees for Champaign and Ford County. Yeah, so whoops. I feel like this almost kind of goes against what I was talking about earlier as far as your responsibility to do research and vote intelligently, but the fact of the matter is that I don't have kids. I don't particularly care what the school board does. Obviously, the main way that the school board affects me is that they would raise taxes. And I kind of don't care. Like, I know there's lots of people who are really, really critical about how much money schools are taking. And yet on the flip side, I'm constantly hearing how they're underfunded. And I know that teachers are underpaid. So I'm not going to get super uptight about tax increases for educational. In this case, you know, I don't know that it's really worth my time to do all this research and make a somewhat uninformed and definitely concerned decision. So I'm kind of feeling I'm just going to abstain from that. Next section is Champaign Unit 4 School District. Again, I don't know anything about any of these people. And I still don't understand this. It says vote for not more than 3, and then there's 3 candidates. So, like, is this just a formality? Does this vote even matter? I really don't know. I don't understand how that works. Next one is Parkland Community College, and there's only 1 candidate. So obviously that vote doesn't matter. And then the last one is a 6-year term for the Parkland College Board of Trustees, and there are 4, and it says vote for no more than 2. Once again, don't know anything about how that would affect me at all. But I did get a flyer for one of them, Jarrett Clem, and I'll just read it quickly. Jarrett Clem is a 3rd-generation Champaign County farmer who knows the value of Parkland education. He is a proud alumnus of Parkland College, where he studied business, agriculture, and construction, earning an associate's degree before he went on to receive a bachelor's degree in organizational development from Eastern Illinois University, EIU. Jarrett is dedicated to providing accessible, affordable education for all members of the community, committed to making sure Parkland provides the vocational and occupational training needed for a strong Central Illinois workforce, experienced in serving his community as a member of the Champaign County Workforce Innovation Board and vice president of the East Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades. There's a typo in here. Ready to get to work, building a strong future for Parkland College. Well, he's the only one I got a flyer on, so I guess that sounds fine. But again, I'm really inclined to kind of abstain here because I don't know that my vote has value in this case, because I don't have a strong enough opinion and I'm not personally invested in Parkland College. So yeah, basically all these education ones, I'm gonna abstain. Maybe someday, in like 30 years, I have a kid. That's a joke. Maybe someday in the future, I have a kid, they're going to school, and I am able to form some kind of impression about what the school board shouldn't be doing, and that's when I take those votes more seriously. But for now, I just don't feel very motivated. The last one is a referendum, or a question. I'm not really sure what you call it, but it's for Champaign County. It says, shall the office of the Recorder of Champaign County be eliminated and all duties and responsibilities of the office of the Recorder of Deeds be transferred to the office of the County Clerk of Champaign County on December 31, 2021? I talked about this a couple elections ago. I think there was a similar ballot measure. Basically, in Champaign, we have a Recorder of Deeds and we have a County Clerk. And that's right. I remember now. In the last county executive vote, one of the candidates was it wasn't county executive. It was county. It was the county board. One of the candidates was very interested in eliminating the recorder because basically the reason that exists, it's kind of like an atavism of government. It used to be the case that the county clerk was very busy doing all of the clerk-like paperwork, and the county recorder, all they did was record documents. And by documents, I mean like plats and legal documents. Like, it's crazy. If you go back, there are survey documents that are literally this big, and all of the words are like abbreviated, like they're missing all the vowels and stuff like that because they were so concerned with trying to save space. And then of course they would have overseen the gradual transition to microfilms, storage of those and all that kind of thing. And basically at this point, it doesn't even matter, because like literally we provide a PDF, they click and drag it into a folder, and they hire out their cloud services to actually store the data. So it's pretty irrelevant at this point. I don't think the recorder has a real purpose anymore, and I am very much in favor of I'll call it trimming the fat and just consolidating that role into the clerk. Anybody in this day and age knows how to scan and save a PDF, so I just really don't even think that position matters. And I'm sure they would say that I'm missing some kind of complexity to the role, but I'm not aware of what it is. So I'm going to vote yes. Shall the office be eliminated? Yes. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be my ballot for this consolidated election. I know I skipped a lot of it. I skipped everything dealing with education, and I skipped the park district stuff because there's no information online. So I got the city council, I got the county township supervisor, and I got the referendum. And just make sure I don't actually have any personal information on here. There's nothing on the back. Yeah, that is backward, isn't it? Maybe that's not the best strategy. I do that every time. There it is. All right, so there's that. And as a reward, I get the all-important I voted sticker. And I actually have a giant stack of these back here on my bulletin board. There's like 8 of them, just one on top of the other. I don't really plan to leave the house today, so it's not like it really matters if I put it on or anything like that. And yeah, so I'm just gonna, it's garbage now. Just make sure I follow the instructions. Read the ballot carefully, note your choices, fill the oval. If you make a mistake, send it back. Once it's complete, place it in the lavender envelope, which is this. Sign the ballot certificate. Which is this, I believe. Ballot certification, yes. And the date is April 6, 2021, so I'm just in time. I've never I've never mailed a ballot on the day of the election before. This is pretty bad for me, really. Okay, so place it in the envelope, sign the certification, and seal. Return your ballot by mail and track it here on this website. So, I'm all good. And there it is. That's how democracy is done. Kind of. I feel like I kind of failed to make some good selections, but nonetheless, here we are, and yeah, everything's good. I hope this encourages maybe someone out there to vote, take their responsibility for enjoying the democratic system a little bit more seriously, and yeah, as always, if you watched, I hope you enjoyed. Whether or not you enjoyed, I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday.